Hotep brothers and sisters, Black Power. As always, giving honor to the Creator and the ancestors. Giving honor to my sister, Chief of Staff, Brother Harris Abdul of the Street Law Soldiers, as well as my father, my in-laws, and all of the ancestors that are in the ancestral realm. And to all the brothers and sisters out there that are fighting for the liberation and salvation of our black melanated nation. Today I want to, I'm just freelancing today on some things pertaining to relationships, some personal issues, some things that you might want to comment on, and feel free to comment on these things, in my comment box, long as it's something positive, because I don't understand the purpose of people dropping all this bullshit in people's comment box, and they call themselves hurting someone, but you really can't hurt nobody with putting something in someone's comment box. It just takes up space, so I'm just going to have an open discussion and share a few things with you all, so just sit tight and we're going to get down. First of all, I hear so much of people talking about so much stuff that they've been through, and a lot of the struggles that they have in relationships with family matters and marriages, and things of that nature. But I just want to share some things on some tips and also some personal experiences on, me personally in terms of, dealing with particular individuals, coming up in the streets, which was the most crucial part of my existence, because I didn't know whether I was going to make it through, alive throughout a lot of the situations and things that I've been into. And in terms of being out there, in the drug subculture, DC never had an official, gang, official gang names and things like that, but it was real territorial because you had 4 quadroons in the District of Columbia: Northeast, Northwest, Southeast, and Southwest. And then you have all the little hoods, inside of those 4 quadroons. However, the behavior remains the same. You still have mass killing, mass crime, and a lot of people don't know with the mass killing and the mass crime, you have a high level of jealousy, you have a high level of envy, a high level of teenage pregnancy, a high level of rape, a high level of molestation, as well as a high level of incest. And to top all of that off, a high level of mental health disorder. And that's the elephant in the room that we don't want to discuss. That, I don't have a mental health issue, because people look at mental health, having a mental health issue is being totally straitjacket insane. And it's not like that. In some cases, some of us need to be in straitjackets based on some of the decisions we have made early on. And I'm talking about myself. When you look back on some of the things that you've done, you wonder, how could I have done some crazy shit like that and ended up in a straitjacket? I mean, and not end up in a straitjacket. Once again, living through death and destruction and being spared. And a lot of times I used to ask myself, why was I spared? Because some of my most closest friends, are gone. Some died horrible, horrific deaths. Some died horrible, horrific, undeserved deaths. And, the drug subculture, in which, using and selling drugs, became just a part of normal daily life for not only myself, and for the entire hood that I was in. To see how many women you could get, how many women you can sex, how many women you can hurt, which some of us call that being a player, but you're really playing on the emotions of some of these sisters, because we lie to them and tell them that they're the only one, that they're the greatest, and you say these things, call yourself being a player or a playboy, not knowing that you're tricking someone out of their trust, and I saw that, so many times. I saw, the violence that took place, how, the brother could do it, but the sister couldn't. And when the sister done it, I've seen a lot of sisters take some vicious ass whoopings. I've seen women get their jaws broke, their rib cages cracked, their eyes knocked out the socket because of infidelity, because she wanted to play the same game that the man was playing, and you have a lot of unselfish, insecure brothers out here, and still do, because now it seems as though, setting a woman on fire now is supposed to be the thing now, in terms of expressing how much you love or either hate a queen, but my thing has always been, when you hit these queens, more than likely you are a queen, because and I know a lot of brothers that specialize in physically punishing sisters, but would never fight a man. And I shared, that's what made me an effective drug counselor, an effective youth counselor, and a life skills coordinator, based on the fact that, not only have I witnessed these experiences, I was right in the midst of it, but one thing I never did, I was never hit females, and that, just wasn't in me. Why would you, physically harm somebody that you can harm, without any type of challenge, and I've always looked at the sisters as being special and precious and what have you, even though I've made some real fucked up choices early on, dealing with the wrong sisters. They weren't bad sisters, they just weren't for me. Because a lot of people say if something doesn't work, that means that person was fucked up. No, the person just wasn't for you. Because there's somebody for everybody. If she's a fucked up person, that means she needs to find another fucked up person so they can compare compatibilities. And I've watched, the homeless population. I watched, well, let me go back a little bit. One thing that I watched nearly get defeated was the crack epidemic that hit Washington, D.C. like a snowstorm, like a blizzard. And I mean, that wiped thousands and thousands of our brothers and sisters out, even mothers and grandmothers and some great-grandmothers, because I've seen all generations use and sell that substance, which I think it was given to us by the devil, by the white devils, and I believe that drug itself is a demon, because I have seen that drug turn men into women, and that's some demonic shit when it can do that. You know. However, you know, all the drugs are fucked up. The heroin, because the heroin's been out forever since the return of the black soldiers from Vietnam. You know, the heroin epidemic skyrocketed, and that was thanks to the another white devil who was president at the time, Richard Nixon, who deliberately flooded the black communities with high-grade heroin at a cheap price. And a lot of our brothers and sisters, some are still hooked in 2018 to this day. Some Vietnam veterans who came home in 69, 70, 71, 72 that are still living, some are still using heroin to this day. To this day. You know. And now that we have, well, Trump claims it's an opioid epidemic, which I believe. Anybody that dies from a drug overdose, anybody that goes to jail for drugs, you know, is the fault of the person or the people that put the drugs in their hands. Wouldn't you think? Because our people never had boats and ships and jets to fly this shit over here. But how did they get it? You know, how did the drugs bypass the white community, suburbia, America, and land into the hood? Now it's with the guns. And the thing with the guns is what they do now, the CIA, FEMA, the FBI, Homeland Security, and the ATF, what they do is bring tractor trailers full of weapons and park them in mall parking lots after store hours and leave the trucks unlocked and for thieves. And then when they come and see all the weapons, they go tell people in the hood, and the hood comes out and get all the weapons that they need, and law enforcement comes and bum rushes it and locks the truck up and moves the truck without making any arrests, because their job is just to mass distribution of these weapons in the hood. Because there's no way a 14-year-old boy from Washington, D.C. can have a Russian assault weapon in his hand that can shoot 700 rounds per minute, that can't even spell Russian. And so that's through research I found out one of the methods that they use to distribute guns in the black communities. That's one of the ways that they do it. And then what they do when they have an overload of weapons where they feel that the police will be outgunned, they'll have the gun buyback program. Well, they feel we gave out too many. We let the truck sit in certain areas too long of a period. So what we'll do, we're going to have to spend some money. So we'll spend $100,000 buying at least half of the guns back. And so they'll give out Michael Jordan tennis shoes, movie tickets, you know, iPhones, you know, for your guns. Even though you went on the truck and took 8, you'll give back 3, so you'll be able to get some Jordans and an iPhone. Because they still want you to kill. They still want the killing to continue. Once again, like I explained to y'all earlier, that was the reason for Rahm Emanuel going to Chicago. Because if you notice, gun violence went up since he became mayor of Chicago. And also, primarily, he wanted to have his hands and control the drug trade that's going on in Chicago with the Russian mafia because they control the majority of drugs in Chicago. And so that was the reason he left being the chief of staff, primarily, literally running the country, to go into a city, an infested city, a hood, to be a mayor of, which he has done nothing about. He refuses to make any press conferences, or he has turned down all interviews when it's pertaining to the gun violence in Chicago. Now, the CDC, the ATF, and FEMA, they play major roles in it. Planned Parenthood, the funeral homes, the police, law enforcement, the judicial system, the courts, public defenders, prosecutors, everybody benefits from the death of our babies, not only in Chicago, but nationwide. And they count on the poor remaining poor. They count on the gun violence, and they count on a certain amount of people to be murdered every night that are of color. And we refuse to see that. That's why I wanted to slap Trick Daddy in his fucking mouth when he said it's no racism in Miami. What fucking planet does your fat ass live on? You know, and it sickens me that some of you niggas, you know, you've gotten a little bit of money, you know, rapping about filth, fucking people, fucking the babies' minds up, contaminating their thought process, making them drop out of school, telling them that going to jail and selling dope is the way out of the fucking hood if you can't shoot ball. Then you win Grammys for the shit. Thank God. And then there is no more racism, because you rubbing shoulders with the fucking Jews, the so-called white imposter Jews. You know, it sickens me when you motherfucking niggas get in front of the media, and you have media power and access, and you come up with and say some of the most idiotic bullshit that your little pea brain could even come up and think of. You know, but as far as the gun violence, that is one of the ways of population control as well. Because funeral home directors, you hear nothing from them. They are very quiet because they're doing things in a very, very covert, clandestine way as far as selling those organs. And they've been getting away with it for quite some time now, primarily because you know, when we lose a loved one, you know, we're so emotional distraught at the time that, you know, that's the last thing that we would even think of, is to ask a funeral director, you know, that they actually cut, you know, our dearly departed open and take their organs and sell. And without any type of concrete evidence or anything, to make such a claim like that, you know, can leave yourself open to be sued, you know. So, Planned Parenthood, you know, giving out tickets to Six Flags and tickets to these to see LeBron James and to these movies, you know, provided you abort your child because you're a teenager and teenage pregnancy is wrong. Now, excuse me. How can teenage pregnancy be wrong when our babies in the beginning of time, our sisters were conceiving at age 12 and 13? Because technically, once they menstruate, you know, and the cleansing process starts, you know, because if it wasn't like that, they wouldn't get pregnant. You know, so I'm not promoting teenage pregnancy, but what I am condemning is abortions. You know, don't kill your child. Even if you don't want it or can't afford to deal with a child at that time, you know, adoption, you know, it's all other, it's plenty of other methods and ways to give that child life besides killing it for the purpose of population control. And so you can have a pair of Michael Jordan tennis shoes or a pair of Timberlands for killing a baby. So what's the difference between shooting a teenage boy in the middle of the street at 2 in the morning opposed to aborting a 4-month-old boy at an abortion clinic at Planned Parenthood at 10 in the morning? What is the difference? You know, we have to think. And if we would not have these discussions and these dilemmas and situations if we were working as a unit. If the black race were working as one, we would not have these situations and problems. Because we didn't have them 60, 70 years ago. The things that we're talking about now, with the exception of police terrorism and the murdering of brothers through the system of racism, white supremacy. Most of the things that we discuss now, we didn't have those issues back then. So where do we go from here? Where do we as a people, where do we go from here? What do we tell our babies? How are we going to make it the next 10, 20 years at the rate things are going? At the rate that they're effeminizing the boys, masculating the girls. And every other show that you look at has a melanated individual in just about all TV shows, either acting gay or portraying to be gay. You know, and when you have demons, people that are working for the adversary, such as Tyler Perry, who promotes this have and have nots, you know, this empire, Lee Daniels, you know, the kissing of men on primetime television. You know, and then you have people like Minister Louis Farrakhan saying that Tyler Perry is an icon. You know, that it doesn't matter, what your preference is, and long as you put up money, because the black church is the black church is the main supporter of this LGBT shit. Main supporters. Come as you are. Even now you have the Stellar Awards where, these gospel singers and pastors, they come out dancing. You think you're at the Grammys. They have on pink suits, tight pants, pointy toe shoes, perms in their hair, switching, saying, what would Jesus do? So, they've made the image of Christ into a dick-sucking pump. A dick-sucking, taking it in the ass pump. That's what they have made the image of Christ. And that's what they say, that Jesus says it's okay for a man to eat a dick. It's okay for a man to pump another man his ass. It's okay for a woman to eat pussy. This is what these churches are promoting. And then you have a bishop, not a pastor, not a minister, not a reverend, but a bishop, you know, that was skull fucking children, skull fucking boys in their ass, flying them all over the country, fucking them in their ass on jets, private jets. You know, and it was okay because, you know, supported by T.D. Jakes, backed up by Juanita Bynum. You know, let's support them. You know, but the ancestors did not like that because they ate him alive. Because, see, he didn't understand that energy. And I'm not going to go into it, you know, but my conscious brothers and sisters, they know what I'm talking about. You know, he was eating up from the inside out and still was lying to the point where he was saying that his weight loss was a result of him not eating meat. You know, and see, that's where somebody gave him the wrong information. Because sometimes not eating meat, you can gain more weight than you currently have. See, he was misinformed or actually didn't know what to say to justify for the rapid weight loss. But one thing that he did do, he lied till they put dirt over him. You know, instead of coming clean. You know, and if you look at some of the people who spoke at his homegoing service, it will clearly show you who he really was. Who he really was. You know. But you know, brothers and sisters, when I sit down and break bread with y'all mentally, you know, as far as talking, I try to just be as real as I possibly can. You know, and share things where people can relate. The most illiterate person can comprehend what I'm saying, opposed to some of you intellectuals that think, you know, you're too good to listen to this. There's too much profanity and all of this stuff because your ears have gotten so sensitive. Maybe it's because of the overdose of estrogen that's in your system. You know. Maybe your bra's too tight from all the estrogen because you've gotten over intellectual to the point where you've become sensitive. But nevertheless, you know, I try to be as honest as I can, you know, be as humble as I can, and be as real as I can. You know, I thank you all for your time, and till we meet again, you know, Hotep, Black Power.